All right, everyone, welcome to our engineering program. I wanted to share some of our guiding principles and values, and we put them together in 8 codes that we all pretty much live by, right? And so we want these 8 codes to be felt throughout our engineering classes. And, you know, students at the elementary, they use bits and pieces, then our middle school uses them, and in our high school, we just live them, right? We've put them together in about 8 codes, and I wanted to share those with you. So I'm going to start out with the first code, and it's about who you know and how they know you. Always be reflective on your choices, because if you become an intrinsic thinker, then you'll always be thinking, if I do this, what's the outcome on the other end? And be personable, right? You can be a introvert where you really like to spend time by yourself, but you have to be able to mimic an extrovert so you can function in industry, right? So just remember that you can actually build those skills. It's not natural to everyone. They've been around people that they see and like, I want to be like them. So then they start just learning how to do that. Be presentable. When you're going to go somewhere, make sure that you're well groomed and that you can walk in a room and they're like, hey, they care about being presentable. Never think that it's okay to not be okay in situations. And be respectful. Yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. It's good things to use. It's like that common courtesy, especially when you don't really know someone. It's just, that's what you should do up front. And that's our first code. It's about who you know and how they know you. It's very important to form that big, large network. So I'm going to share 2 with you. So 2 is, many hands make light work, right? We're not talking about the lights on the ceiling. We're talking about when people get together in a common purpose and they can make things happen, right? Time is super valuable. Time goes in a direction like this. You never get it back. You can't go back to the future back yet. And working together is going to speed everything up, right? 2 is many hands make light work. Divide tasks when you can and create equity amongst the team. So if you have a super awesome skill, make sure you go, I have this skill. I can be the most efficient with this. And that is when I say divide and conquer, right? Divide and conquer. You take people's skill sets, you take what they're really good at, you can divide out, and then you can finish your tasks. So that is 2. Many hands make light work. So moving on to code 3, it's enhanced skill sets. You want to improve your good skills to great. Here is good, here is great. Never let the good get in the way of the great. Always seek new skills. There's nothing wrong with you going, I kind of want to do what they're doing. So then you have to approach them, say, can you teach me? No one's going to turn you down. And then after you're like, I'm getting these new skill sets, then you have to be able to turn around and show off what you can do. You have to utilize your skills. You have to show them off, because that's how you will be known. Be known. Do things, be known. All right, so that's 3. That's enhanced skill sets. 4 is fail fast. When you fail, which you're going to do many times in this class, does not mean that you're failing the grade in the class. It means that you're going to use a process and understand a failure is just the point at which you just have to refine everything, refine the design, reflect, and just repeat, right? So we're okay when you face these failures. What you have to do is get over it. You have about 5 seconds when you fail to get over it, refocus yourself, and learn from those failures. That's what you have to do. Study your failures and you'll be on the path to success. If you get so fixated on your failures, it's the whole time thing that's moving in this direction. If you get fixated on those failures too much, guess what? No success is happening because you're not getting over it. And that is 4, which so 5 is work smarter, not harder. Be super efficient. That goes back to many hand makes many hands make light work. Eliminate non-essentials. You'll hear stop the nonsense. That's a non-essential. When you have something that you're trying to achieve, those are goals, those are aspirations of yours, eliminate the non-essentials. Step back and sometimes go, hey, should I be doing this, and why am I facing this in life, right? You have to use systems to organize things. There's processes, there's protocols you use, there's systems you use to be super, super efficient. When you're focused and you're using systems, you can identify distractions. Once you identify those distractions, then you can easily eliminate those distractions and be diligent. Get it done with the people around you. And that is work smarter, not harder. So 6 is embrace humbleness. Be humble about what you're doing. Be gentle and patient with people. It's one of the hardest things to do in life, is to be gentle. You want to say these things like, didn't you already know this? Or things like that. And you have to retract and go, okay, I need to be gentle with this person because at one time I was that person. Appreciate everyone's differences, and this goes back to every code, and accept all of those differences, and then know your limitations. If you are pushing yourself to a limit where you know that limit is going to break you, you need to have someone beside you that's like, hey, we're kind of pushing these limits, so you don't push too far and you're so far out there by yourself we can never get you back. And then always help others. If someone's bringing something into the lab, offer to grab that, whatever it is, and pick it up. Always hold doors with people and just help others. If you hear 1,000 parts hit the floor, don't just stare at that person. Go directly to that person and start helping them, right? That's part of being humble. So that is 6. 7 is don't live and learn to live. When I was growing up, I made a lot of mistakes due to the fact that people go, oh, you live and learn. Well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, because if you look at others and listen to others, they're sharing all these things like, hey, I made all these mistakes, don't you make it, right? So you're going to learn to live by making smart choices based on the things and the people that you choose to keep around you. And then keep your values first. So you're over the years in our program, you'll hear us talking about values that you instill in yourself. That way, ultimately, you can be successful. So that is 7, and that's don't live and learn to live. So moving on to 8, this is part when you're in all classes. Slant. This is something that you've probably heard for years and years. You want to sit up and emit confidence. If you're in a room and you're slouching, that means that the person in the room is going to identify you as maybe someone that's not a hard worker or someone that's not capable of achieving something. And you got to listen. So the L in the slant is the listen. It's listen first, analyze, then formulate ideas. Then ask and answer questions. Always, you can nod, right? But ask questions. Even if you start out with some low-grade questions and you get to high level, eventually you'll train yourself to do this. And then going back to those nonverbals, you've got the N for nod your head when you agree. It's good. Sometimes you'll talk to people and they'll be very stale-faced with you and you don't know what they're thinking, or even if they're thinking. They're just standing in front of you. So, it's a good piece to understand as far as nonverbals, and just a simple nod like, I agree with you, or it's very simple. Then track the speaker. If someone is talking to you, always maintain that eye contact.